joins us right now from the New York Stock Exchange. He has that news. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Becky. We've been waiting for the response, so to speak, from Warner Brothers Discovery to that tender offer we got more than a week ago from Paramount to acquire Warner Brothers for $30 a share in cash. And we've gotten it this morning. It's a 14D9 filing. It is, as you might imagine, voluminous. That said, the key points are ones we've been making. And, of course, the lead is no thank you, Paramount, rejecting Paramount's latest bid, if you will, at $30 a share, all cash, for a variety of reasons, many of which we've been discussing over the last few days and over the last week or so as well. But let me get to specifics, because there are a number of them here, and they do focus, certainly at least starting with what they believe is being consistently misled by, that is, Paramount consistently misleading Warner Brothers shareholders that its proposed transaction has what they call a full backstop from the Ellison family. The Warner Brothers Board of Directors says it does not and never has. There is no Ellison family commitment of any kind. Instead, they propose that you rely on an unknown and opaque revocable trust for the certainty of this crucial deal funding. And they say, despite having been told repeatedly by Warner Brothers how important a full and unconditional financing commitment from the Ellison family was, and despite their own ample resources, of course, pointing to Larry Ellison's 1.1 billion shares of Oracle that are in that family trust, as well as multiple assurances during our strategic review process that such a commitment was forthcoming, the Ellison family has chosen not to backstop the Paramount.
So Warner Brothers is going with Netflix. It's a better deal. Real quick, the reason why they're going with Netflix is because Netflix offered them cash for their shares, but also going to give them $4.50 in Netflix stock per share as well. That is great. That's equity in Netflix, and you're getting cashed out. Amazing. The reason why they turned down the Larry Ellison deal, the Paramount deal, is because their deal is based on heavy debt, but it's not basically backstop or guaranteed by the Ellison family. If you don't know what the Ellison family is, he owns Oracle. What do you say? 1.1 billion shares in Oracle. He's a billionaire. He has a lot of money. They just bought TikTok, right? But it's not, that debt is not backed by them. It's backed by a trust that not really tied to him. What they wanted was the money or that debt to be backstopped by them. So if something happens with the debt falling through, Larry Ellison will kick in and pay the rest. So what do we do here? The Warner Brothers is going to give it to Netflix. Netflix came with a better deal. Look, if I'm looking at the deal myself, if you're going to give me $23 per share that I own, amazing. And then you're going to give me $4.50 per share that you guys have. You're going to give me that, but for every share that I have, it's amazing. I love it. It's a great deal. So now I got paid right now, and now I'm able to invest and have a part of the Netflix future as well. That's a great deal for shareholders. So what we see is from the Ellison family or from Paramount, they were parading around saying that they were going to give them, all cash offer, blah, blah, blah. But really it was debt, but it's not even backstop or guaranteed by the Ellisons. Sounds like they picked a fair deal. They picked the right deal. I think also, too, Netflix doesn't want CNN, TNT, I believe, and all. They don't want that. They just want the catalog. They don't want to get into the news business. So I think Warner Brothers look at it like, okay, cool, we can still be in this business, the news business and the cable business and all of that, but you can have all of our IP, you can have all of that. So it makes sense. It's a great deal for Warner Brothers. And I believe that maybe in the future they might spin off CNN and TNT or whatever off to the Ellisons at a cheaper price, or maybe not. I feel like what the Ellisons really want, or Paramount really wanted, was CNN. So this still give them an opportunity to get CNN. They just can't get all of that. Only way that Paramount can get it, or the Ellisons can actually get all of this, if Larry Ellison backstops or he guarantees that if the financing falls through, I will pay the whole thing cash. That's a big step. He got it. But what we know about millionaires and billionaires, man, they never want to use their cash. Nah, not personal cash. Why would I? If I can get the debt and they can use me and say, okay, cool, we understand you're a part of this, but you're not really a part of it, but you're a part of this. I do those deals, but I'm not going to do a deal where I personally am liable and paying out of pocket. So it's something to keep our eye on. But the Warner Brothers, I think they're doing the right thing. I think they're getting paid. The shareholders are getting paid now, and they're also participating in the equity of Netflix. That's what you want. It's a win-win situation. I hate saying that, but it's a win-win situation. I'm just curious to see what Warner Brothers is going to do with the Netflix. I mean, not with the Netflix, with CNN and the cable networks and stuff like that. Because that means that Paramount still has the option to get it. Just at what price, right? So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But when we are looking at these deals and we're looking at these headlines of rejection, we have to dig a little deeper. But that's why you probably follow me, to tell you a little more straight up so you don't have to do all the digging. I get it.
Offer. Now, of course, backstop is exactly the term that Paramount used in its latest bid, saying, in fact, the Ellison family is good for the roughly $8 billion or so
nobody
in
want to pay
equity
that.
they were going to need to complete the transaction. This is one of any number of specific recommendations / parts of the rejection that we've gotten this morning from Warner Brothers. They say they gave a full, transparent, and competitive review, established a level playing field that fostered a rigorous and fair process. Now, of course, Paramount has said nothing of the kind existed. In fact, that they feel as though they were disadvantaged, perhaps even from the start, but certainly later on when they felt as though their last offer didn't even get a response. They say, despite Paramount's media statements to the contrary, the board does not believe as well that there is material difference in regulatory risk between Paramount and Netflix. That's also very important, of course, as you both well know, given there has been a view that Paramount would have a speedier and easier regulatory review, certainly here in the United States, perhaps in Europe as well, than would putting together, as is the case, of course, with this merger agreement between Netflix and Warner Brothers, the number one streamer and the number 3 or 4 streaming, depending on how you measure things. But not unexpected. The question now, of course, will be, do we simply wait? We see what the response is from Paramount, and will they choose to raise their offer to trigger perhaps the matching rights that Netflix has under its merger agreement and force it to come up? And will they also address, Andrew and Becky, these concerns, particularly as it deals with financing, something we have been talking about of late, and does seem to have been one of the key gating issues as to why Paramount was unsuccessful, even though, of course, it started this bidding and made what ended up being, I think, 6 bids to try and buy this company.
In order for Paramount to get Warner Brothers, they have to pay all cash. They're going to have to pay all cash, $40 billion cash. That's the only way.
So when you swing down steep and the club,
that's the only way I believe that they will be able to get this deal done. Cash is king. Does Larry Ellison want to part with $40 billion? Just look up his net worth. What's Larry Ellison's net worth? Does he want to part away with $40 billion? I think that's the only way that they will look at their offer seriously, is if he parts with $40 billion. And they know that. See, the one thing when you're doing deals, man, and you know somebody wants your properties, and you know you want something, you know these people want what you have the upper hand. And I believe they told him, if you really want this, you may need to up your deal, and you need to pay all cash. And then you can worry about your financing and stuff later to get your cash out. That's up to you. But right now, we want all cash. Because right now, as it stands, Netflix offers looks amazing. I can get paid now, and I can get part of the equity in the future of Netflix, and you know that's going to go up. But his Larry Ellison's estimated net worth is $280 billion. So he got it. So Warner Brothers is basically playing a game of how bad do you want it? They might tell him you might need to go up to $50 billion, all cash. We ain't got no problem. And you can have it all. So we just have to wait and see. How bad does Paramount want Warner Brothers? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. As always, going to keep this thing rocking, keep it going. Appreciate your support. Appreciate everything that you have done. Hit the notification bell to see all the new videos. Got a lot of things coming. I got the daily show coming soon. Thinking about calling it the No Fluff Morning Show. Not sure yet. Working on the Go Getter Patreon. Working on some vlog stuff to put in the Patreon. Working. Building up. Looking for some editors. If you're an editor, hit me up. But definitely working. 2026 is going to be a great year if you put the work in. If you don't put the work in, it won't be a great year for you. So we're going to keep this thing rocking, keep it going. See y'all later.